Tony, he went in on affirmations and what he called, basically the BS of positive thinking. What I wanted to push back on is the idea that affirmations are ineffective. Affirmations are actually, hey, number one, let's go. Here we are. So a friend of mine attends and is a believer in the Tony Robbins Kool-Aid. And I'm not saying that pejoratively, like it is a very real, I think, beautiful potion that you drink. And so he's a part of this $80,000 mastermind. And I was like, Jason, what do you get from it? And so what he ultimately said was, you leave feeling empowered. You leave feeling like you can do anything. There was somebody who said recently, you pay attention. I was like, yo, that's real. As the universe works, we came upon this Tony Robbins interview in My First Million, which is an incredible podcast. And he talked about this Time to Rise Summit. And at the top of the 3-day experience, he said, I want you to commit to this like you paying for it. And so that means showing up on time, being present. Tony, he went in on affirmations and what he called, basically the BS of positive thinking. He said, I started learning the power of what's called incantations. Incantations are different than affirmation. Affirmations is when you say something over and over and over again. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. And your brain goes, now he's holding up 3 fingers, including his middle. Read between the lines. I'm not happy. It's not convinced. You can say some crap over and over again. Affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. All right, I think I have a couple of books around here. All right, so listen, I have Awaken, The Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I have Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins. And I'm sure somewhere in my Amazon cart, I got another Tony book. What I wanted to push back on is the idea that affirmations are ineffective. Affirmations are actually an opportunity for us to call attention to what we desire. We went on a family cruise last spring. I mean, yeah, it feels like you're on a moving casino. We tried to find as many opportunities just to be in nature, even in this massive cruise structure. And so Sally and I and the baby, we went out to the nose of the ship. And so off in the distance, you could see what looked like to be like a piece of debris just floating. All right, so follow me on this, y'all. The universe is like that ocean, right? Just vast and full of potential, just pure possibility, right? And so that piece of debris that was just like floating along, that's us if we don't set really clear intentions for what it is that we desire. So we know that the universe is an all-inclusive universe, right? We can call it divine love. We call it God. We call it divine presence. We have a lot of different names for what we call this entity, this force, this energetic power, right? And the reality is the universe is all accepting, all desiring for what it is that we want. And so if our intention is just to float and coast, it's going to happen, just like that piece of debris that's floating. Off in the distance in the ocean, we saw a little tiny boat. I'm sure it was bigger. From our vantage point, that boat was tiny and you could see it just like pushing against the force of the water and moving. That is what happens when we set our intention. And you better believe the wind, the ocean, everything was there for that little boat to cut through the water. That is our intention. That's what we desire and what we set for something. Affirmations are an opportunity for us to affirm that which we intend. And so I 100% agree with Tony in that affirmations without planting them in soil is just moot. It's just something that just doesn't really have any value. But I do believe that affirmations have their place. I can tell you straight up, there have been times in my life where I'm just like coaching myself, like, you can do, let's go, right? You can do this, let's get it. One of the affirmations that I often say is, we make right decisions quickly. There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Shinn. That book was like really popular. She is probably one of the pioneers of metaphysics. She talks about we have this access to divine intelligence all the time. Yeah, we can pray, but prayer is really for us, right? God doesn't need our prayer. We need to experience that prayer to feel like we're connected. But the truth is, prayer is just revealing what's already inside. It's just revealing that connection that's already there. When we say or affirm, we make right decisions quickly. In fact, her affirmation is, I am always connected to divine intelligence. Therefore, I make right decisions quickly. That has been my affirmation for the past couple years. So if ever I'm thinking about, what direction I should go, or even something as simple as, should we use this color for this exhibit, or should we use this edit? You better believe whatever it is, if I'm in the valley of decision, immediately I know that because I make right decisions quickly, that right decision is right there. It's only when we start deliberating on the thing that it becomes problematic. Moral of the story is, I'm a believer in everything that Tony Robbins has built. And when you look at the impact that he's had over his lifetime, you see that there's like deep sincerity. He says, I'm not your guru, but straight up, he's a lot of people's gurus. He, I believe, for many of us, is a beautiful example of what it means to walk in grace and to give. He says over and over again, to be successful in business, you have to have a service mindset. How do I over deliver? I wanted to create this conversation to push back and simply say that affirmations have their very real and necessary place. The key is, like Tony said, connecting that affirmation to action, and that action is really the intention. So I intend for something, therefore I'm moving in the direction of that thing. I'm laying down all this opinion, and if I was watching this, I'm thinking about myself. I would be like, who is this guy? So click on this video right here where I talk about some of my beginnings. What's interesting is, while this is my story, it's also your story, because one person's journey is another person's journey. We're all connected. Click on this video. It's good connecting with you. See you on the other side. Peace.